The app available from the App and Play Store.
You're on Sunrise Radio with me, Shabnam Sahi. It gives me great pleasure to say a big warm welcome to actor Babil Khan, who has an exciting film titled Logout streaming on ZEE5 Global. Babil, welcome to Sunrise.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very, thank you, very
I
excited.
got myself a nap. I hope that's okay.
That's absolutely fine.
It's really hot in India.
Right, Babil, let's talk about Logout. So, from what we know, you play a character who is an influencer. He's very much a man of the moment. You're charismatic. You're driven by validation from the public, from your followers, etc., until something sinister happens and you're drawn into reality. So, Babil, first tell us what drew you to this role in Logout? What appealed to you?
I'll be honest with you. And when I call you ma'am, I'm sorry, but it's just it's just a thing of
Sure.
habit, right?
Sure.
But yeah, I don't think it was. I was very new in the industry. I didn't have, this audition was given 3 years ago, and we shot this film 2 years ago. So I did not have a say in what I was choosing, what I was not choosing. I gave the audition. It was a two-page script. It was the phone call. If you've seen the film, you'll know. It was the phone. It was a phone call that I make to somebody when I can't remember some things. Not to spoil anything. But yeah, I gave that audition, and then I met. I got the call to meet the makers, the Three Musketeers, I call them, from Bhojpuri Pictures, and yeah, I then I got the script, and when I read the script, the selfish actor's opinion was that I get to do so much. I for the in so early on in my career, like I get a chance to take a film on my shoulders and try to show what I can do. But from a personal point of view, from a point of view that is not that is not thinking about career, acting, nothing. It's just from a point of view that is thinking about growth as a person.
Yeah.
It was about accepting those parts of me that I don't accept. Like me saying, "Oh, I don't care what people think about me, but I do care what people think about me." And how do I make the journey from that to caring what I think about me? And of course, as a performer, you will always want the validation of critics, want the validation of the audience. But the most important thing, I think, is to be comfortable in your own skin and have self-love and self-worth and dignity rather than, being validated by the opinions of others. Yes, of course, that is important. That we will care always. That will never go
Yeah.
away because we exist as a society.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be a pack of people. We're supposed to function as a society, but to give priority to what people think about themselves rather than what the opinions of
Yeah.
others are.
Absolutely. Even with this brief chat, Babil, we are speaking for the first time. I had the pleasure and the privilege of chatting with your father many times. You are a chip of the
Really?
old block. Yes. And I can tell that you're clearly
I
cut
don't
from the
know.
same cloth. You have the same work ethic, and you're absolutely right.
I
आर्टिस्ट
hope
के बारे में
so.
तो कहा जाता है कि देखिए
I hope.
पैसे भी अगर कम मिल जाए लेकिन वो appreciation जो है, that is so important to
And
anyone who
yeah,
is in a
yeah.
creative field, right?
When people talk about my privilege, I just honestly like my biggest privilege is that Baba worked very hard and Mama worked very hard. That now today my work ethic, it doesn't, I don't, I have money, but so I can do the films that I want to do and give my life to it, no matter what happens, like just if you I really go a little over the top, like in the sense
Yeah.
that I do preparation in a way which is sometimes dangerous to me and dangerous to my body, but I feel like I'm leading the legacy of 40 years of two people working together and creating something and creating me, and I
Yes,
have to, that I feel a responsibility towards that. So
absolutely. And
I'm kind of dangerous to myself.
but the audience loves that about you. The fact that you're so raw, the fact that you are not afraid to speak your mind, and as you're saying, not afraid to be selfish as an actor and try and strike a balance between what is going to appeal to the critics, to the audience, and also what appeals to you as an actor. Now, Bobby, let's come to Logout for a bit. What I want
Please,
to ask
yes,
you is, you know, you have done a few projects and you have impressed us all with your work. But even in
yes.
this short journey, is it possible for you to pick a favorite in terms of genres? Because Logout is a very modern story. It is about someone who influencers that we are surrounded by on social media. So, do you prefer playing a character, or should I say, is it easier for you to play a character which is contemporary and more like you, or should I say, belonging to your generation? Or do you like to transport yourself to a period piece where you actually have to read up and research what the sensibilities, what the system, what the culture would have been at the time and what the story demands? Any favorites out of the two?
I would like to tell you that I am not, it's none of them are easier for me, because
Mm,
even in today, the work that, this influencer,
yeah,
I play an influencer, but the truth is that I am so far from his job,
yeah,
social media, and my
yes.
screen time is 0 minutes, and I
Mm,
don't check my phone. One day I threw my phone in the Andaman Sea because somebody told me to come back from scuba diving. So that ways, even playing today's stories are difficult for me.
yes.
But the whole point of my job and my passion is that I need to approach things that are difficult for me, not what I can do, not what makes me feel comfortable, but what makes me feel that, oh my God, I don't think I can do this. And then
Mm,
trying to do it. I
mm,
think that's when the surrender and that's when the uncertainty comes in. And
yeah.
that's what makes you trust something that is bigger than you. You know what
Mm,
I mean?
yeah,
And
absolutely.
that's the magic, right? That's the whole
Yeah,
point. Like,
yeah.
why else do this?
And you said it so beautifully that, you as Irfan Khan's son, as Shutapa's
Yeah.
son, you have to honor
Yes.
that legacy, right? And, I also feel that, Babil, you will always walk in their shadow. So, as an actor, how do you take the positives from that? Or how do you use that to motivate you to do the kind of stuff that you want to do? Because you want to create your own niche. You don't just want to be always known as Irfan Khan's son, much as you're proud of being
Yeah.
Irfan Khan and Shutapa's son, right?
Yeah. You're absolutely right. But I also, I have had an upbringing where identity has not been that much of a priority. Like, yes,
Mm,
of course, when I think about myself, and
mm,
when I'm selfish about myself, I, I do feel sometimes, oh my God, I wish I can, but the truth is, what I really, really want, and what I've been taught, it's not Baba's legacy or Mama's legacy. It's humanity's legacy. That's the
mm,
problem with our interpretation of legacy. It does
mm,
not come from one lineage. It's
mm,
about what you do with what you've been given. That is the point of legacy. It's
mm.
not that I am trying to continue somebody else's work or
Work.
somebody else's.
Yeah.
People can define legacy as they want, but this is what I've been taught, right?
Mm,
So the legacy is not about acting. It's
mm,
about being the best human you can be. So if I go plant 500 trees, if I go scuba diving, do something for the coral reefs that we've diminished, 65%, I think 60% of the coral reefs are gone, which is insane. And it's a grim metric to, just look at human beings as something that, as an entity that kills three species an hour,
mm,
just
mm.
go extinct.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of things to think about. There's a lot of things to do. It's not just acting, but I never look at the shadow as a shadow. I look at it as a beam of sunlight, actually.
Mm,
You know, it's
mm,
not a shadow. It's only a shadow when my ego comes in, when my identity comes into the picture and says that, oh my God, why am I not getting, but why am
Mm.
I still this? But why
Yes.
me, it's all of
Yeah.
that. I can deal with that. I can, of course, it hurts. All of that is a human thing, but I can watch and observe the anxiety of that rather than react to it and try to be something that I'm not.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is precisely why we love you so much, because you really have a
Oh,
distinct voice and an identity of your own. Even though, like I said, you haven't been
yeah, it's
in the industry
it's
for a long
ironic.
time. Huh? No, even though you haven't been around, it's about who
Yeah,
you
yeah,
are and the fact that you unapologetically express yourself as an actor, as a person, which of course is amazing. Now, we live in time, much as I believe that your work should do the talking. We live in times where we need to make people
yeah.
aware of what that work is. So, my last and final question, sadly, we don't have much time, Babil. How
Oh,
would you describe Logout to someone who is interested in your work, who watches ZEE5 Global? And how would you describe it to them, or what would you say to them so that they watch it and see for themselves what Logout is all about?
I didn't like to talk about my work because
Mm,
I still have not reached a phase where I'm confident about. But
mm,
I would like to say that this is a film that is relevant today,
mm,
and this is a story that would be relevant tomorrow, and it was relevant yesterday. It is a story that is relevant throughout time because it's
mm.
about seeking that validation. Pehle bhi jab, when early on our grandparents used to be like,
Huh,
oh, what will people say? Don't do
huh,
this, don't do that,
huh,
don't marry into that fam.
huh,
So it's just you change the phone into something else.
huh.
You just take that thing from some period in time. It works in all periods of time. So I think it's a relevant film overall.
Mm.
I can't say anything about how it's made or what I've
Yes.
done
Yeah.
but I genuinely do believe that it's a relevant film that works in any time, in any era.
Fantastic. Babil Khan, I know it was short and sweet this time, but thank you so
Babil,
much
you
for
can
your
just call
time.
me Babil.
I wish you every success, and I can't wait to have my next chat with you, because it's always
Yes.
wonderful to see an actor's arc and see how they develop, how they grow, which way they go, the projects they choose.
Yeah.
And, again, like we said, it is not just about honoring your parents' legacy, but it is about
Yeah.
honoring the legacy of cinema, and, of course, you giving
Yeah.
back all the
Human
love
beings.
that people give you, of
Just
human beings. Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time.
thank you. Thank you. Wonderful chatting with you. Truly,
Thank you
truly.
very much.
Thank you, Shabnam.
Thank you.
The app available from the App and Play Store.